Here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from Rudskogen Motor Center. This 2.02 mile racetrack, 14 turns, and tonight's race, a 2-race 20-minute format, as we've seen already this season. This is race 3 of 9. We're not with you guys for race number 2. We're doing every other race this season here on V-Speed. And race number 1, not short on excitement. Looked like Steve Ficacci took the victory in race number 2. And again tonight, these drivers trying to put their name atop the podium. And it looks like Steve Ficacci currently quickest in the qualifying session. Adam Pohl, Brian Kennedy, Michael Pavolano, Darren Treacle make up the top 5 here tonight. This is race 3, brought to you by SEO Mike. Check out those guys using the link in the video description. Also can use the code !SEO Mike in the chat to get connected to their link in the chat as well. Do want to thank you for tuning in here tonight, and hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Looking forward to broadcasting a race from a track that I don't believe we've ever broadcast from. So we are definitely going to need the track map here this evening. It's going to be right down there in the bottom right hand side of your screen. We'll pull up the qualifying leaderboard. Steve Ficacci, you see right there, 120.7, currently the quickest. Adam Pohl, a few hundredths off of him. Brian Kennedy now goes to the top in the number 77 machine with 1.5 minutes remaining. This is one of the shorter road courses that you're going to see here in this league. So the lap time's not too long here. We'll get a nice, good set of laps per race. Of course, the field's going to be inverted from the qualifying order that you see here currently on your screen. Let's take a look. Matthew Gazenda out there in the Lamborghini machine. Of course, drivers all different types of GT3 cars on the racetrack. And this is quite the scenic spot here at Rudskogen. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm not exactly sure. But you can see just right here through the woods, you've got rocks and cliffs and all kinds of things surrounding the racetrack. As he kind of works his way through the heart of this race course. Got a hairpin corner here back up the hill. Back to the left. Just 30 seconds left in qualifying for these drivers to try and get a better lap in. It is Brian Kennedy currently sitting on the pole. Top 15 drivers earn points. As here you see Matthew Gazenda work through the final corner. Back on the front stretch, goes really wide there. Actually clips the grass past the start-finish line. We take a look here. Clint Fletcher in the Audi R8. Oh, and he's going to go very far off and actually lose control of the race car. And checkered flag waving in the qualifying session. So that's about all we'll get to see. As we will go now to the starting grid for tonight's first, this is the heat race, and they'll invert from the finishing order of this one to the start of the main event. We'll take a look here. We're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Starting on the pole in the heat race, it's gonna be Chase. Oh boy, Outcult. New name to the league here. I haven't seen him before, but he's going to be starting up front. Peter Lanik going to roll off from second. Dean Tulane going to start in third. Colin Kortnick going to start from the fourth position. Matthew Gazenda going to start from the fifth spot. Rolling off from sixth, it'll be Stefan Vapa, the number 97 machine. Clint Fletcher, he'll start from the seventh position. Darren Treacle going to roll off from eighth here in the heat race. Michael Pavolano, he'll start from the ninth spot. Rolling off in 10th, it'll be Adam Pohl. Steve Ficacci, he'll start from the 11th position. Brian Kennedy showing him in 12th. Jesse Brannon going to roll off from 13th. Yakov Bielik going to start from 14th position here tonight. Scott Kim, he'll start from 15th. Matthew Stover going to roll off from 16th. Robert Benson, he'll roll off from 17th. And Carlos Bonds will round out the field here. 18 drivers in race number 3. As there we go, Chase Outcult going to be on the racetrack. We will see the pace truck roll off here in just a moment. Cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for, and who do you think is going to win tonight's heat race and then the finale, the main event. Very interesting course here as they work their way towards turn number 1. Looks like we're doing a full pace lap. Let's take a look at the track conditions tonight. 66 degree air temp, 84 degree track temp, so should be plenty of grip for the drivers in these GT3 cars. And a whole variety. You see the Ferrari out there leading us to the start of this one. You've got the BMW M4 machines, the Lamborghini Huracan as well, Audi R8s. There's, I believe, a Ford GT in the mix here. That is the number 12 of Adam Pohl. The Fox paint scheme, a new one for him. And I'm not sure what else. No Porsches that I can see. Yeah, looks like no Porsches out there. I think they're a little bit short on speed compared to the rest of the track, or rest of the cars. Looking forward to a pretty exciting event here in this one. Again, thank you for tuning in. If you are watching, make sure to tell your friends. If you've got anybody you know racing in one of these events, make sure to tell your friends and have them come out and support them by watching. Definitely a lot of fun to broadcast these guys. We've been doing it now for a few seasons, and good to be back with them again in 2023. This is race number 3 out of a 9-race season here in the spring. I guess this is still the winter season, technically. But we'll be bringing you the action in the spring as well as in the fall of this year. They will be off for the summer, a little change to the format. And we'll be bringing you every other race, hopefully in each of those seasons. Looks like Chase Outcult trying to pull ahead there as pace truck is onto the pit road. And we are working our way back towards the start-finish line to get things going here tonight from Rudskogen. And green flag is in the air. Nice jump by a few drivers. You see 2, 3, 4 wide already. Got to be very careful as they work their way down into turn number 1. It's going to be the number 2 machine leading the way. It looks like everybody able to clear on through, no issues. But we are still 2 by 2 through much of this field as they work their way out of the exit of turn 1 and 2. Down the hill here, side by side. Darren Treacle looking to make a move to the inside of, that is going to be Clint Fletcher, I believe. Actually, Stefan Vapa right there alongside him. They will work side by side through the corner. And everything happening behind the top 2 who have broken away by nearly 2 seconds. You can see the 16 of Peter Lanik all over the back of Chase Outcult. As those 2 work down into the hairpin corner, everybody else follows now single file. Looks like a battle potentially for position behind Darren Treacle. That is Michael Pavolano and Adam Pohl. Car goes wide there at the back of the field. Matthew Stover. Dean Tulane kind of leading this group of race cars that are behind the 2 leaders, and he's going to go around the final corner of lap number 1. The 84 of Dean Tulane, he goes for a spin. Everybody able to avoid him. He will fall back to 17th position. And it looks like Matthew Gazenda with problems now. He's gone around out of the final corner. Oh, hard hit. It looks to be the case for the number 52. Just gets up over the curb and then loses control. Big hit to the nose. As he waits for everybody to go on past, he will fall to the tail. Brian Kennedy with issues now. What happened with Brian? Maybe a course cutting, yeah, went a little wide right there. And that has cost him quite a lot. Scott Kim with problems, he's gone around, so a lot of drivers losing control. This, the Red Bull Audi R8 of Scott Kim. Just not able to keep the car underneath him. He saves it. He'll fall back to 16th position. Meanwhile, Chase Outcall leading the way. He has got nearly 2 seconds over Peter Lanick. It's a really nice job by the driver of the number 2. As the battle for 3rd is on, Clint Fletcher feeling the pressure from Colin Kortnick. Then Darren Treacle sneaks his way through to 5th. He brings Steve Ficacci right there with him. Not a surprise to see these two nose to tail like this. As they streak down the start-finish line there. These two starting to close in on 3rd and 4th in front of them. Ficacci started 11th. Some nice battles already in lap 1. Peter Lanick starting to make inroads back up to the race leader. A lot of long sweeping corners, some off camber here as they work through the center of the track. Coming up on turn 10 here, the hairpin. Nice job by both of the leaders. The gap's still about 1.7 seconds between them. And it looks like Clint Fletcher able to get away just a little bit from Colin Kortnick, who's going to start feeling that pressure from Darren Treacle through the final corner here. Steve Ficacci goes wide, trying to get a nice exit. And Treacle might have had a penalty. He's giving up time. Here comes Stefan Vappa. Another one of those drivers you see up in the mix quite often. And he actually is not going to make a move to get by those two. Adam Pohl behind them. These are your classic cast of characters right here in the midfield right now. Michael Pavolano along with them, also a race winner this season, trying to make his way forward right where he started in 9th spot. Steve Ficacci, Darren Treacle now having changed positions. It's going to be, what can the 00 do to try and close up to the leader? He's about 5.7 seconds behind. Adam Pohl going in the defensive line there. Michael Pavolano starting to close up on him. This is a really nice group of race cars. A lot of talented drivers in this section of the field. And they are starting to close up just a little bit on the leader. But Chase Outcall, he is doing quite the job here. 3 laps led and not losing any time to Peter Lanick. That gap has remained at 1.7, 1.8 seconds. Go back to 3rd place, Clint Fletcher. Trying to close in, but just not able to make a lot of time at the moment. He was about 0.3 quicker. But Outcall in the top 3 fastest cars, and he is leading with that clean air. Ficacci last time around, he was about 0.4 faster, the fastest car on the racetrack. Not a surprise at all. Colin Kortnick gonna Start to see the 00 very close in his mirror. And he goes off the track just a little bit right there, trying to defend from the 00 machine and also try and close back up on Clint Fletcher. Doing everything he can. That Audi R8 looking very wide at the moment as he is leading this group of cars. Fakachi kind of sweeping out wide there, cuts down low, trying to get that nice run off the corner. But Colin Kortnick does exactly the same thing, and he is going to put down a nice lap himself. Actually, second quickest behind Darren Treacle, who's the fastest. Now Michael Pavolano picks up the pace as well. He goes faster than anyone. And I believe he's run the fastest lap of the race with that one at 120.89. Nice view of nature outside the racetrack there. The battle is on for fourth position. Colin Kortnick in front of Steve Fakachi and Darren Treacle. Big slide right there for Stefan Vapa. Gets it under control. Gotta be careful not to superheat those tires, though. As there goes Fakachi making his way past. Oh, and here goes Darren Treacle. Big send down to the inside, maybe a little contact. 2, 3 wide. They sort it out, and there goes Fakachi now on through to fourth. Darren Treacle to fifth. Colin Kortnick shuffled back to sixth. And now Stefan Vapa gets checked up a little bit behind him. Here comes Adam Pohl starting to apply the pressure. This is something you get when you flip-flop the field, which is a really cool format that they have here in this league. And oh man, Adam Pohl really had to get on the binders there. Michael Pavolano had to check up as well because of that. So all of these drivers losing a bit of time there. As Fakachi's gotten past, he's got some clean air. The gap about 4.5 seconds to Chase Outcall, who I believe may have had a problem. He's given up a big chunk of time here on this lap. And Lanik and Clint Fletcher closing in on one another. We could have a 4 or 5 car battle for the win in this sprint race. Little bobble right there from second place. And Chase Outcall is having some connection problems. I'm not sure what's going on there. It looks stable enough. He just blinks out every so often. Here's the battle for second. Peter Lanik under fire from Clint Fletcher, who's going to go right around the outside. Looks like Peter just gave it to him. And Steve Fakachi, that time a flying lap, a 120.81, a good 1.7 seconds faster than your race leader as we just hit the halfway point in terms of time. You can never count out that 00 or the 70 of Darren Treacle. Both of these drivers just so talented. A lot of real world experience as well. And they are the class of the field here more often than not. Stefan Vapa, another driver who's raced with them in real life, often finds himself up there in the mix. He goes a little wide through that corner. Here comes Adam Pohl. They're going to make contact. Pohl through the grass, able to hang on to it, and he's going to go off the nose of Michael Pavolano into the wall. Oh boy, and he has got a broken race car. Go back to the start of all of that so we can go overhead. So Vapa goes wide there. Pohl tries to take advantage. The door kind of closes on him. And then he goes to defend, and not sure if the car just was unsettled. A big hit there. And the rear wheel, you can see, completely broken. That car is not going to want to go straight. and he had to tow it back to pit lane, so Adam Pohl gonna have to, well, he'll actually probably be starting from the front in the next race. How about this though? Battle for the lead is brewing. On board with Chase Outcalt. Clint Fletcher is there. He's been running some of the fastest laps in the field as well. Battle for third. Peter Lanik feeling the heat from Steve Ficacci. Gotta give it to these top two starters though, in Chase Outcalt and Peter Lanik. They have run very good races. To be leading in third at the halfway point in this thing is very impressive. We'll see how long it holds up though, as for the lead, Chase Outcalt in front. Clint Fletcher is there. Chase Outcalt's run very competitive lap times all race. It's not like he's off the pace. These guys are just picking it up and throwing it down here. And you gotta wonder if Steve Ficacci gets past here, he'll be in third position. Darren Treacle right here with him. He's actually trying to make the move, not gonna do it this time into turn number one. Chase Outcalt still hanging on to the top spot, being very defensive right now. You see he tries to go to the middle of the racetrack. Here goes Clint Fletcher, uses a little slipstream. High speed corner. Little blink again from the 2 machine, the 69 of Clint Fletcher. And the red camo Audi R8. The neon green wheels. Took a peek there, trying to get Chase to make a mistake. But doing a great job right now is the driver of the number 2. So they go through that corner, nose to tail. Steve Ficacci continuing to chip away. His gap now just 2 seconds to the race leader. And as they exit the final corner there, it is still nose to tail across the stripe. You see Outcalt go defensive, cuts to the racing line a little bit quicker. Clint Fletcher cannot outbrake him. And gotta be careful there for the number 2 to not get a penalty. Got a couple tires off the racing surface, but doesn't look like he's been given one just yet. Still maintaining that race lead. Ficacci cuts the gap down to 1.6 seconds, and he's bringing Darren Treacle with him as well. Darren about 3 seconds behind. Peter Lanik currently holds on to 4th, but he is under pressure from Treacle at the moment. You see the lights flashing there. 16 definitely in the way at this current point in time, but it is going to be 3 cars under a blanket pretty soon. Steve Ficacci is there. Started 11th, he's up to 3rd, and he is just about 10 car lengths behind Clint Fletcher for 2nd. You know, Clint is definitely going to want to try and get past. All but 2 cars on the lead lap. Adam Pohl still probably in the process of towing to pit road. But he is 2 laps down. Matthew Stover off the racetrack 5 laps down in 17th. Gonna have about 4 more laps in this one. A little offline there for Clint Fletcher. Maybe he's just trying to set up for the exit and get a nice run here. He does do that, cuts the gap back to just a car length and a half. Ficacci just 2 car lengths behind him. Clint Fletcher takes a peek. Driver's right, not going to be able to do that. It does hurt this corner for him just a little bit. Now here's the thing. He's gotten there, but can he get past these 2? Steve Ficacci. I say his name a lot, but he is the one to watch here so far tonight. He's going to try and make the move for 2nd, side by side with Clint Fletcher. Clint is going to back out of it, surprisingly. As fast as he has been, he's backed out of it. He's maybe going to just try and watch, I guess, the master at work here. See if he can lead him on through and then start to battle for the win. But Chase Outcult, who's led the entire race to this point, 11 laps. Very impressive performance here in the sprint race. He's got a lot of company here at the back bumper. That is Steve Ficacci. Got a little bit off track, so that slowed him up. You can see a little blink for a moment there. I am holding my breath. Chase Outcult doing a fantastic job defending this race lead, but it is a tall task to hold off that neon green and black machine. And has Ficacci used his stuff up just a little bit too soon? Oh, nice run out of the corner there. It's going to be side by side for the race lead. Really tight through the S's. Outcult goes wide. Ficacci on through. But it looks like the two fighting back. Still side by side. The advantage, the 00. Here comes Clint Fletcher now. Gonna maybe take a stab at the race lead. Little lock up there. Great battle for the top spot. 2.5 minutes left in this race. Now Clint Fletcher sees an opportunity. The 00 had to work hard to get past. Can Clint Fletcher make something happen here? Darren Treacle's also been joined up into this mix. I don't know though. It looks so strong. Back on throttle does Steve Ficacci. Now the battle for third. Here comes Darren Treacle. Chase Outcult goes a bit defensive. I think it's actually going to pay off for him here. The 70 of Darren Treacle has to back off. And the top two trying to scoot away while they can. It's going to be white flag next time around. And the gap now up to about 3 or 4 car lengths. So good under braking through that corner is Steve Ficacci. The thing is, they're closing in on a lap machine. I believe that is Carlos Bonds. Rather, it may be somebody else. I thought I heard a car very close. It does not appear to be the case. So Steve Ficacci, Clint Fletcher pulling away. And look at the send by Darren Treacle. Overcooks it. But able to take the spot. Chase Outcult giving up a couple more positions. The driver who led so much of this race. Just trying to hang on for a top 5 hard on the brakes there. Side by side, you can see the back end. He's really used up his stuff. Now coming back to the white flag though. The battle for the win. Ficacci, Fletcher. What can Clint Fletcher do to try and get this sprint win? Enters into tonight's race 6th place in the standings. And use every point he can get to try and track down Ficacci, who is your points leader after 2 races. And looking pretty strong here tonight as well. From 11th position to the lead. Clint Fletcher from 7th to 2nd, and Darren Treacle from 8th to 3rd. Chase Outcult able to hang on to 4th for the moment. Back to the front here. About 5 more corners left. Ficacci does not look like he's going to make a mistake. And Clint Fletcher with the send, trying to cut the distance there on turn entry. He may have closed up just a little bit. Really nice job. He's a bit better through that section of the track, actually. But it's just coming up to the last corner here. And Steve Ficacci looks like he is going to do it. Clint Fletcher so close, but so far not going to be able to do it. Ficacci will win the sprint race. And nice job there by the driver of the 00. Clint Fletcher 2nd, Darren Treacle 3rd. Chase Outcult able to just nose out Peter Lanik. And then you've got Stefan Vapa, Colin Kortnick, and the big pile up into turn 1 as we wrap up the first sprint race. Let's go to our results for sprint race number 1. You can see them here, the top 10 showing on your screen. Really nice job by all of those drivers. And the remainder of the field still closing in. It looks like everybody has finished except for Carlos Bonds. You see Jakob Bielik, Adam Pohl, and Matt Stover, the only 3 off the lead lap there. So we will go to a quick commercial break at our halfway point. We will be right back. SEO Mike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEO Mike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEO Mike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com. And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swack.
A punch for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club.
Back at the racetrack now, about to get things going here for race number 2. And you can see the starting lineup now. We will run through it. Matthew Gazenda going to start here in the main race tonight, the feature race. He's going to start on the pole for us in the number 52 machine. The 333 of Jesse Brandon going to start from second. Dean Tooling, he'll start from the 3rd spot. Brian Kennedy going to start in 4th here tonight. Michael Pavolano going to roll off from the 5th position. Colin Kortnick, he'll start in 6th. Stefan Vapa, he'll roll off from the 7th spot. Peter Lanik going to start in the 8th position. Rolling off 9th, it'll be Chase Outcolt. Starting in the 10th position, Darren Treacle. Starting 11th, it'll be Clint Fletcher. Steve Ficacci going to start from the 12th spot here tonight after winning the sprint race. Scott Kim going to start from 13th. Carlos Bonds, he'll roll off 14th. 15th on the grid is going to be Jakob Bielik. Starting in 16th spot, it'll be Adam Pohl in the Ford GT. As we are making our way through the middle of the racetrack, what an exciting sprint race here tonight. It was 3 or 4 cars there within the last couple of laps fighting for the win. Can't ask for better than that. And I do not see Matthew Stover or Robert Benson on the grid. It is possible they're starting from pit lane. I'm not too sure, but I don't see them out here on the racetrack right now. So it looks like we will have 16 drivers at least taking the start. So we are working towards that final corner. Matthew Gazenda, who we named driver of the day in week number 1. After very strong performance in that race. It's going to lead us to the start-finish line. Pace truck into pit lane, which is on the outside of the racetrack here. Definitely a different layout than some places. Here we go. The Gazenda 52 going to lead us to green. Off and away for the main race tonight. And side by side for the lead, Matthew Gazenda, Jesse Brannon down into turn number 1. 3 wide behind him. Could get a little messy. Little contact further back here still. 2, 3 wide. Around goes Stefan Vapa. Right in front of Adam Pohl. Steve Ficacci and others. The 141 of Jakub Bielik going to have to come to a complete stop. As Vapa goes around. Take a look here at the replay. Little contact with Darren Treacle sent him off. And then I think a lot of net code right there sent the 97 around. If you go to the replay, see how much space. Yeah, almost 2 feet of space. So that is unfortunate. As he will get rolling here once again. Ian Tulin is off the racetrack. Looks like maybe a little contact, or he just missed the braking zone. At the replay here. Yeah, just loses the back end. Goes for a big slide into the gravel. And just hooks it there. Able to get to a complete stop. And Jesse Brannon with issues. He's off and around. Lap 1 a bit more eventful in this race. Just taking a look at the replay. Jesse Brannon. Just under braking, loses the back bumper. Looks like Chase Outcult maybe with a problem as well. Yep, he went around off of Steve Ficacci after a very impressive 4th place run. Did he have contact getting back on the racetrack? Ooh, very close with Stefan Vapa. He falls to 15th position, not where he wants to be. But how about Matthew Gazenda out in front? Got a pretty good cushion to Brian Kennedy, who is no slouch here in this league, a many-time race winner. Michael Pavolano's got problems. He's around in front of Darren Treacle. And this is a dangerous spot. Let's go back and take a look at what happened. Maybe just self-spin like we've seen. Just back end slips out from underneath, and that was a rest. Nowhere for Darren Treacle to go. He actually ran into him. Appears everyone else has gone on past, but that is going to hurt Darren Treacle's chances of winning, if not completely eliminate him. 17.8 seconds back, and damage for Michael Pavolano. All this, though, helping Matthew Gazenda, who's out in front by 2.2 seconds. Could he get his first win here in the league? Brian Kennedy just about 1.8 now as they exit turn number 2. Colin Kornick, Peter Lanik, and Steve Ficacci up into 5th from 12th position after just 2 laps. He's already gained 7 positions. Maybe a little help from guys going around in front of him, but Clint Fletcher right here behind him. This is how these two ended race number 1 tonight. Adam Pohl, who's back in the mix. Scott Kim battling it up with Jakub Bielik. Stefan Vapa trying to recover behind them. We'll see what Scott can do if he can manage a nice solid top 10 in this race after spinning it out in the sprint race. So a lot of time for things to happen here. Completing lap number 3, the gap still about 1.8 seconds. Taking a look at lap times here. Brian Kennedy about 0.4 quicker. Steve Ficacci about 1.7 quicker than your race leader. So he is trying to chip away into that gap, but he's got to be careful not to go too fast too quickly. Too fast, you could say, I guess. Got to make sure to have enough tire and grip left at the end of the race to actually put up a charge, put up a fight. As Matthew Gazenda, a little issue possibly. He's lost a big chunk of that lead. Brian Kennedy is now there, just about 3 car lengths behind. But he's got to serve a time penalty. He's slow right now. And that has cost him. Yeah, that cost him about a second, all said and done. And he is still struggling. Out of rhythm right now, and Colin Kortnick closing in. He may still be serving a time penalty. This is a lot of time given up here. Matthew Gazenda's lead now up to 3 seconds. Steve Ficacci has cut the gap down to 5 seconds. And in the previous race, he was about this distance at this point in the race. We'll see if Matthew Gazenda any faster than Chase Outcolt. He's got more cars to have to pass here too. Peter Lanik trying to squeeze him. They make contact. More contact. Able to get through though. Adam Pole, Clint Fletcher swapping spots as well. Every car Ficacci has to pass is going to be a little bit more time. He'll have to slow down. Let's take a look at the lap times across the stripe here. Matthew Gazenda runs a 1:21.46, very nice lap, his best of the race. Brian Kennedy a 1:20.86. So actually even faster. Colin Kortnick 1:21.49, very close to the leader. Ficacci 1:21.1. So Brian Kennedy, your fastest car on the racetrack. Adam Pole also very quick right now. He's top 4 fastest. Currently runs in 6th position in the Ford GT. Be interested to see how Clint Fletcher does on the long run. He seemed to really pick up the pace towards the second, half of the first sprint race. So we'll see if he's maybe saving his stuff, trying to pace himself a little bit here. It's tough to say. Matthew Gazenda, very impressive start to this one, though. After starting on the pole, he is yet to surrender it. Lost a little time at one point, but Brian Kennedy ended up losing even more. And that gap just 2.7 seconds. Now Colin Kortnick 4 seconds behind. And he has got Steve Ficacci hard charging right there behind him, up 8 positions. Very cool shot here as they work down the hill. Cars on the brakes. Very entertaining racetrack, I will say. High speed, but also technical. And Matthew Gazenda, he's got a good hold of it right now. 1:21.51 the last time around. But still at the pace Steve Ficacci is running, he would get there. It would be very close at the end. As he now completes the pass on Colin Kortnick, who goes wide and might fall into the clutches of Peter Lanik as well. Adam Pole still looking very fast as well. One of the fastest cars, if not the fastest car on the racetrack. Ficacci with a little bit of clean air now. He might start to pick up the pace even more. He was slower than your leader, though, by 0.4 the previous lap, so not making quite the progress that I'm sure he wants. Big moment there for Colin Kortnick, who goes a little bit wide. Brian Kennedy trying to close up, but ever since he got the time penalty, has not really been able to do so. A couple tenths here and there, but he gives it right back usually. And now he is really starting to struggle, seeing that green and black machine in his mirror. I realize it's just a matter of time and give it to him, but Brian is he's a fighter, man. He's no slouch here in this league. We've seen him go out there and get wins and even a championship a few seasons back. Currently running in that second spot, not able to close up that time, but Ficacci about 1 second quicker than your race leader. The gap now down to 3.3. But in the wake of second place, Adam Pohl moves into the top 5 now, clearing Peter Lanik, who's side by side with Clint Fletcher, who's trying to march forward as well. And just a little bit too deep into that corner goes Lanik. Clint Fletcher on through. He'll move to 6th. Meanwhile, second and third starting to close back up. Maybe a mistake from Matthew Gazenda. He sees those names in his relative. Starting to think about the cars behind him instead of what's out in front. Darren Treacle, after his issue early on, finds himself in the 10th position. And just about a second and a half behind Stefan Vapa, who also has had his issue here tonight. He's about 2.5 behind Dean Tulane, who's also spun around. Peter Lanik, the next one up the road from them, is about 5.5 seconds out in front of Dean. Seems unlikely that those guys will get up to these 4 drivers. But you never know. Brian Kennedy has done a nice job there on the last lap. 1.1 quicker than Matthew Gazenda. Ficacci a couple tenths slower than Brian Kennedy, so maybe the 77 was saving his stuff. Knowing that 00 was charging, it was going to be right behind him. Goes a little bit wide through that one. Nice run off the exit, though. The gap shrinking now to 1.7 to Matthew Gazenda. 6 minutes and 45 seconds. And ticking. That's the distance right there, continuing to shrink. Gazenda maybe losing his rhythm a little bit. Would be a great result to at least get a podium, but you know he wants to win this thing. 1.3 seconds across the stripe. About 5 laps to go in this race. Gazenda has led every single lap. The gap now just at 1 second. Adam Pohl, Clint Fletcher, 2 of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Stefan Vapa actually the quickest last time. Darren Treacle second fastest. So those two 9th and 10th. Trying to get some positions back after early issues in this race. Darren Treacle actually has been, I think, the fastest, or one of the fastest through this race. Just unfortunately had to come to a complete stop at one point, which is not what you want to do when you're on a racetrack. He was 17, almost 18 seconds back, finds himself about 15 and a half right now from your race leader. Brian Kennedy really closing up. He is under 1 second We come back around to the stripe. It'll be 4 laps to go. Matthew Gazenda putting up a really nice pace. But that 77 just that much quicker. Look at him under braking. Closes up now. Just 2 or 3 car lengths. He is really pushing the issue. Sees an opportunity for a win. That leader right there in front of him. Just got to be sure to make no mistakes here, because it's either a win, second place, maybe about 10th if you make any mistake at this point. He is right there, but you can tell just as soon as he gets in that wake, just a little bit of aero issues with the BMW. And he closes up that close. Matthew Gazenda out in front doing a fantastic job all race long. He's actually made it farther than Chase Outcolt did in the last race. And the gap's still about 1 second, so Matthew Gazenda trying to hang on here. It'll be 3 laps to go. And the gap just 0.6 of a second every time into turn 1. Brian Kennedy closes up a car length, but not able to do much with it after that. But you can see just the hesitancy there from Matthew Gazenda is going to cost him about a car length out of turn 2 as they work down this straightaway. Down the hill into turn number 3. A little bit wider on entry goes the 77. He is there. Steve Ficacci about 1.3 seconds back. Still closing, but not at the rate he would like. It's the top 3 all within about a 0.5 of each other. In lap time, that is very tight and very competitive. Colin Kortnick solidly in 4th, and the battle is on for 5th. Adam Pohl, Clint Fletcher, both these drivers very good speed tonight. That'll be a fun one to watch here over these last couple of laps. Meanwhile, Matthew Gazenda coming back to 2 laps to go. The top 3 have broken away. They're all within 1.3 seconds. 4th place Colin Kortnick about 3.5 further back. Now just 2 car lengths into turn 1. Is Brian Kennedy going to be able to do anything? Get up there and challenge for this race win. Turn Matthew Gazenda kind of thinking, this is pretty crazy. He's out here leading these guys. But he has done a fantastic job in this race. And they shuffled the schedule around. You get to see it right here on V-Speed. He is leading a lot of laps tonight. 13 laps led in this sprint race, every single lap. And he has got some pressure on him, though. Brian Kennedy, Steve Ficacci not going to give up here. The 77 does a nice job there. Little tire spin from Matthew Gazenda. It's 1 car length into turn 12. Nice job there on the power. It's going to come down to the white flag lap to settle it here between the top 3. Brian Kennedy goes wide through the final corner, trying to get a nice run off, and he will go a little wide there. You see the back end start to step out. He lost a lot of momentum. It's a 0.5 second white flag in the air. Matthew Gazenda trying to hang on. Here comes Steve Ficacci battling for second. And he'll take it away just like that. Can he do it on the last lap, though? Matthew Gazenda finally seeing the black and green machine in his mirror. It's 0.7 with most of this lap yet to go. Through turns 3 and 4, what can Ficacci do to close in? Look at him send it there under braking. He's a car length and a half behind. And Matthew Gazenda still hanging on here on the brakes. Here comes Ficacci right to the bumper. 5 more corners left on this lap for Matthew Gazenda. Can he hang on a car off the track in front of him? That is Yakov Bielik, 16th position. All cars on the lead lap in this race. Coming up to turn number 12, what can Steve Fakachi do? Wide arc entry. He is going to be right on the back bumper. 2 more corners. Fakachi goes around. Matthew Gazenda is going to do it out of turn number 14. He is going to win his first race. What a performance, leading flag to flag. Brian Kennedy will finish second. Colin Kortnick, he'll come home in the 3rd spot. And Steve Fakachi pushing hard there on the last lap. Going to end up in the 6th spot here tonight. Man, what a battle. What a race. Let's go back and take a look at the final corner here. We can get a nice view of it. Fakachi just goes around. Brian Kennedy able to avoid. And Matthew Gazenda clear track around him to take the victory. What a battle. What a finish here in this one. Matthew Gazenda taking that win. See if we can pull him into the booth straight away. And what a race. What a battle. That was so much fun to watch. Matthew Gazenda, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Adam?
Hey, pretty good, man. I think last time we talked to you, you were driver of the race, and now you're the race winner. How does it feel to do battle with those guys out there and ultimately dominate the feature race tonight?
Yeah, it feels awesome. I mean, especially after the first race, I kind of made a silly mistake in the first turn. I mean, the first lap. You know, but it actually worked out to my favor. It got me 12th. You know, I worked back to 12th spot, which is pole, and you know, just kept going. I had Brian behind me the whole time, and then I saw Steve come. You know, I managed to gap Brian for a little bit, and then he started coming, and then Steve was coming, and I was like, can I hold on? Can I hold on? So I was just trying to be really consistent. It's so easy to over push here. So, you know, I was just trying to hit my marks every single time and not look in my mirrors too much, and it worked out. So I'm totally thrilled. It was a great race.
Yeah, it was a fantastic one to watch, and those guys were closing in, but you didn't flinch at all. Able to hold them off there. Great performance from yourself, taking that victory tonight. We go to, it looks like Mosport next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I don't know. I don't really remember Mosport that well. I've never run it in these cars, so I'll have to get a lot of practice in. I mean, I'm having that for pretty much every single track we go to right now. So, but hopefully the Lambo's good there, because that seems to be my jam. So if it works well there, hopefully I can do well there too. So I'm excited.
Yeah, very exciting to also come off of a win like this and go out there and with a kind of a new level of confidence, I'm sure. But man, what a race tonight. You lead flag to flag, 15 laps led, and you hold off Brian Kennedy and Steve Fakachi there for an exciting finish. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just want to give a shout out to the guys again, Scott and Dean, and then I also want to Brian and Peter both being very helpful doing extra sessions and stuff like that. It's really been really helpful. So I appreciate those guys.
Awesome, man. Well, congrats again on a fantastic race and win here tonight. So go celebrate, and we'll catch you on the broadcast in a couple weeks.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. That is your race winner here tonight, Matthew Gazenda. What a finish and what a drive by him. And now let's go to second place. Brian Kennedy, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Adam, I got a copy.
Well, you ran second for a lot of this thing, and man, it got interesting there. Those last few laps, Steve Fakachi got in the mix, and you guys were all pretty much nose to tail there for quite a while. You come home in second place. How does it feel? And just kind of describe the race from your position.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough track. I mean, everyone struggled to keep the car straight, and not just that, though, all the slowdown penalties. You know, that's what kind of delayed my challenge to Matt was I got a few slowdowns along the way and kept having to give it time, and then yeah, right. Steve caught up at the end, made it really interesting. That was a lot of fun racing there, and even though I lost position to Steve, but then he gave it back at the end, so it worked out. I'm very happy with second. for sure. And congrats to Matt. That was a great race for him.
Yeah, really impressive, performance from him and yourself as well. You start fourth in that one, come home in the second position. We go to Mosport next week. How do you feel about going out there?
Hey, Adam, you got your audio kind of broke up.
Oh, sorry about that.
Asking about Mosport.
Yeah, Mosport next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I love that track in the sim at least, and yeah, it's a lot of really fast, high consequence turns and some challenging ones. Like I think it was the Moss Corner, but yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I'm looking forward to going there this summer in real life. I'm gonna meet up with some of the NCC league members like we did at Watkins Glen last year, and we're gonna do Mosport this summer, so that's gonna be exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, that's it's going to be an exciting race for sure, and it's always cool to be able to meet some of these guys in here and race with them, or just be around them in general. So that'll be cool to see the photos and the time that you guys have there. But second place tonight, great run. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, of course our awesome sponsor SEO Mike. He's been here with the league for a number of years and has a great business. Please support it if you're looking for web analytics and all that good stuff. And then shout out to Team Gasburn and also Yakov, who he's been away for about a month or so. Welcome back, Yakov.
Awesome. Yeah, good to see him back out here as well. And great run again. Go celebrate, and we'll catch you on the broadcast in a couple weeks. So good luck at Mosport.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. That is second place finisher Brian Kennedy. Let's go to third place now. That is Colin Kortnick. Probably didn't expect to be pulled in here. Hey Colin, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, hey Adam, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Probably didn't expect to see yourself up here in third place. Only one corner left, and you were running in fourth. But ultimately, you get a podium finish, and it seemed like a pretty uneventful race from your perspective. Kind of riding in fourth, but just run us through tonight's events and just your time here at Rudskogen.
Yeah, definitely a difficult track. Takes a lot of patience and focus, and pretty stressful. Yeah, I mean that second race. I mean the first race I had a little bit of a spin, and I was kind of hanging up there with the guys. But the second race, didn't really make any mistakes or too many mistakes that really negatively affected me, and just kind of kept the pace. I didn't have the pace that some of these guys had, but I think I was just pretty consistent in that second race. And Steve went for the move, on the last corner, and I got the podium. So I'll take it, right? These guys are so fast, so anytime I can get up near the top is pretty exciting for me. So very, very pleased with the outcome tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of fierce competitors in this league and a lot of guys who are just super fast, but great performance to be there, when it counts, and ultimately get that podium finish. We go to Mosport next week. How do you feel about going there?
Oh, that's a fun track. It's one of my favorites. I know, just collectively in real life, right? We've been trying to coordinate a trip to get all of us out on track up there and cross the border to Canada. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen this year, so we'll be excited to race there next week.
Yeah, it's a fun track. I've been there myself. I'm sure you guys will have a great time. I know I heard Brian say that you guys were coordinating something as well, so that'll be a great time just up there.
Yeah, I mean that's what's so great about this group, right? Like last year we went to Watkins Glen. I think we had a dozen of us from the league all meet at Watkins Glen to do a track weekend. So it's just makes it truly special, and just really enjoy driving with all these guys and learning from some really fast drivers and then applying it onto the real world. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, definitely cool to see, and there are some great drivers in this league, that is for sure, and it's awesome to see everybody getting more and more competitive each and every week too. So great run for you here, third place again. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just giving a shout out to the Gasburn team, and then obviously just welcoming Yakov back. He's had some family things to work on, and so just glad to see him back out participating, and just wish everybody a great season.
Awesome, Colin. Well, congrats on the podium finish. Go celebrate, and we'll catch you on the broadcast in a couple weeks.
All right, thanks, Adam. Have a great one.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
That is Colin Kortnick. Great finish from him here on the podium. And we are going to pull up, we're going to go chase Outcolt. Hopefully I didn't butcher his name all night. But see if we can talk with him. We're going to call him driver of the day for his performance there in the sprint race, and then ultimately a solid finish here in the feature race. So let's see if we can pull him into the booth. Actually, you know what? He is not in here, unfortunately. But we are going to give him a shout out, at least on the broadcast. Chase Outcolt, driver of the day. Great performance in the sprint race, led a lot of laps, came home in 4th, ultimately started the feature race in the 9th position to come home in the 11th spot after getting turned around there early on. Good solid run for him though, and a name that looks like he could be a competitor in this league in the races to come. So hope you guys all enjoyed the broadcast tonight. Let's go through the final results and head on out for the evening. No cautions, of course, no lead changes in this race either, so that is a little bit unusual. Usually we see at least a couple of those with this inverted field, but Matthew Gazenda flag to flag domination here in this one, and he holds off Brian Kennedy and Steve Ficacci, who went around in the final corner. Brian Kennedy comes home 2nd. Colin Kortnick will finish in the 3rd spot. Adam Pohl, good charge up to 4th in this one, 12 positions gained. Clint Fletcher going to come home in the 5th spot. Steve Ficacci ends up in 6th. Peter Lanik comes home in the 7th position. Stefan Vapa finishes 8th. Dean Tulin in 9th. And Darren Treacle will round out the top 10. 11th position was Chase Outcolt. Michael Pavlano going to come home in the 12th position. 13th, Jesse Brandon. 14th, Scott Kim. 15th was Carlos Bond. 16th, Yakov Bielik in his return. And then Matthew Stover and Robert Benson did not take the green flag, scored 17th and 18th tonight. Again, shout out to SEO Mike. Make sure to check them out in the race description and the link in the chat that we've shared a couple of times. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back on Tuesday with our first broadcast in 2023 with the Below the Double Yellow Racing League in the Xfinity cars from the for the Clash. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch that one. That's going to be at the Lucas Oil Raceway Park, I believe. So going to be a very exciting short track race. So tune on in Tuesday at 8:25 p.m. It'll be myself and Alec Martinez in the booth for the first three races, and then we will be I'll be kicked out, and it'll be Bradley Cooper jumping in to broadcast with Alec. So you won't want to miss those races over there Tuesday nights. If you enjoy NASCAR action, make sure to tune on in. But for V-Speed and myself, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and have a great evening.